Hey everybody, welcome to Sports Brawl. I'm the head host and the head admin of Sports Brawl, Jonathan the Raptor Master Pack. We here for the finals of the Sports Brawl Rookies tournament right here, or two finalists right here, and I just really can't wait. And what I say in many of past matches, the winner of this match will have a special surprise around here after they win their match. Go stay tuned to the end of this match where the surprise it is right here on the road to Merchant Claw. And basically, let's introduce the two finalists who made it through this far so far. Right now, on my side, right over here, we got Mr. Asher Gold right here. How you doing, Asher?
I'm pretty good. Oh man, that surprise. I hope it's like an ice cream cake or something. I could really go for some Carvel right now. But yeah, I'm pretty good. Uh, I'm glad to have made it this far. Rue's a hell of a competitor, as you're about to introduce him. But I'm hoping that one of us will bring out more stats than the other and prevail. So yeah, I'm excited to get in there, face a really tough competitor, hopefully win, and get an ice cream cake out of it, because that's what the surprise is, right?
Well, well. With that though, let's go into the competitor you just mentioned, Mr. the Rue Bear himself, Amaru Moses. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm nervous. No matter how many times this happens, I'm nervous way before the match. Ash is a great competitor. Been watching a couple of this debate so far, and I'm ready to get it going. I'll take the melted ice cream cake when it gets here. That's fine.
It's very cold in the freezer. I'll just say that. All right, with that, before we can start the game, let's introduce our judges. Who's going to help me throughout this match right here, or should I say the three people who is judging, because I'm just a host right here, so I don't do pretty much all the work. Let's introduce the judge number one, the ball. We got Mr. JB3. How you doing, JB3?
I'm doing all right. That's my first time getting to witness these two competitors debate, and it makes me excited. And I'm ready to just listen and let's do this.
All right. Next to JB3 here, we got Mr. Kevin Paz. How you doing, Kevin?
Doing well, and happy to see both of these guys here. I think I took part as a judge in both of their semifinals matches leading up to this. Yeah, I know they're going to throw a lot of stats at me, so I'm prepared to write down as many as possible, and my hand be hurting after this.
Be ready, sir. Be ready.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
All right. We got the third judge with him. We got Matt D right here. How you doing, Matt D?
I'm doing good, man, and I want in on this ice cream cake no matter whose it goes to. So just be ready because, man's hungry. But no, I'm excited. Both these guys are great stats guys, which is so much fun for us writing down all their notes. And this is the final, so let's get this started. Let's crown a victor.
All right. Before we start the game, let me sort of the ground rules. And for those new people who just tuned in for the first time right here, let me explain the ground rules and like follows. Once the arguments start, we got 90 seconds on your opening, 5 minutes starting on the debate, and 60 seconds on your closing, though. The judges at the bottom right here are writing on based on the opening and the 5-minute arguments may be, though. And also, if we get to the speed round, though, we will give you like 45 seconds of the opening, 30 seconds of the rebuttal, and 20 seconds of the closing if we go to the speed round, though. The first player to get to 3 points wins this match and also move on for the special surprise after the match is over. So is everybody ready for this finals matchup?
Yeah.
Go.
All right. Let's do this thing to cue Daryl Wartrip. Biggity, biggity, biggity. Let's go racing, boys. All right, let's go into round number 1 with Asher's strength is Major League Baseball. And this question is more of a typical question right here. Who is the best third baseman in Major League Baseball right now? Since this is Asher's strength right here, I'm going to start with him with his pick.
Okay, so after seeing Rue's answer, I honestly could have chosen anybody. But the question is the best third baseman in the major leagues right now, and that's going to be Anthony Rendon. He's been one of the best hitters in Major League Baseball over the past 5 years. Over the past 3 years, he's cultivated incredible home runs, incredible clutch moments in postseason games, in comeback games, in World Series games. He's done it all. He's been a Gold Glove nominee for the past 4 years, only because he's behind, Nolan Arenado. He hasn't won it, but he's still a very quality defensive third baseman. He's played on the world champion Washington Nationals. He's ended up taking a bigger responsibility this past year because Bryce Harper left. So he had to kind of take the mantle as the offensive firepower, and he did it in flying colors. I'll probably talk about the stats later because I have them. But he is a force of nature when he gets a bat on the ball. He's a force of nature in the field. He just signed a mega contract with the Angels and is looking to prove himself. He's an incredible player. So Anthony Rendon is the best third baseman in the MLB right now.
All right. We got Asher's choice is Anthony Rendon, something I'm very familiar with as a DC native myself. Not going to put anything into that. I just want to put that out there. Let's go with Amaru's right here with his selection.
When you talk about best in the game, not only do you have to talk about a monster last year, but you also have to have some kind of elite consistency. And the only third baseman who's had consistent elite growth and damn near consensus number one is Alex Bregman. Ever since 2017, and 2017 is a key year because that's the year that the Astros cheated. So that's a year that's a wash. Since then, Alex Bregman has had complete dominance and growth. Each year since 2017, plus around 20 runs. Each year, plus 12 hits each year, plus more than 10 home runs each year. Went from 71 to 112 RBIs. Lowered his strikeouts each year. Increased his batting average each year. On base plus slugging percentage went from .827 to 1.105. All of this while going from 55 to 96 to a league-leading 119 walks, 119 times. Pitchers were too scared of him to let him even bat. Since 2017, two-time All-Star, 2018 All-Star MVP, All-MLB second team, Silver Slugger, fifth place in AL MVP in 2018, second place in 2019, almost catching the best player in all of MLB in Mike Trout. And then now let's get to the 2019 stats. For in all of MLB, first in wins above replacement, tied for first. First in times on base, first in runs created, fifth in on base plus slugging, third in on base percentage, and all of these are better than my man's pick over there.
All right. We got Asher's choice with Anthony Rendon versus Amaru's choice of Alex Bregman, two very talented third basemen. The debate will begin. The 5-minute debate will begin with when you begins talking.
So, yeah, the cheating thing, I'm glad you brought it up so I didn't have to. But the thing is that they got caught in 2020. So do you really think that they didn't cheat in 2018 and 2019? I know the investigation might not have shown it, but baseball players across the majors kept knowing that they were cheating. You could hear trash cans being hit in the 2019 season. So this man was implicated in one of the biggest cheating scandals since the steroid era. And you don't think that, his hits and his stats are because of that? I just think that's silly. They're pretty similar in stats. Maybe the growth of Alex Bregman's a little bit better. But if you're looking at stats, Anthony Rendon's this year, he had 44 doubles and 34 homers. He led the majors in RBIs with 126. I mean, he got 80 walks, 86 strikeouts. He had a 319, 412, 1010 slash line. I mean, they're very, very similar. But the biggest gripe is that one of them cheated and got caught this year, which means he could have cheated last year, and the other didn't at all. In fact, the other beat Alex Bregman in the World Series. So if you're doing matchups, Anthony Rendon has you beat. I don't know what you're going to argue.
When it comes to the cheating, the investigation happened, and it's only been proven that 2017 is the only year they cheated. They've looked into it, and it said that 2018 and 2019, there's nothing that proves that they cheated or not. And based off of that, we can only go off of what we know, and we know 2007 was the cheating year. When we talk about them being very similar, that is correct because Rendon has had one career year. 1 year does not make you the best right now. If you look at the 3 years before this last year, you had stagnant runs with Rendon, 91, 81, 88, stagnant hits, 153, 153, 163, all less than Bregman. Stagnant home runs, 20, 25, 25, all less than Bregman. Stagnant RBIs, 85, 100, 92, all less than Bregman. And this is after he's been in the league 6 years. It's not growing pains. This could be a fluke year. Now, if Rendon can do this again next year, you might have an argument. But even with all that, even with the boom career year he's had, there are so many places that Bregman is so much better than Rendon where it counts. 335 points for AL MVP for second place versus Rendon's 242. And the places where it really matter, in third, look how many points. He's going up against Mike Trout. There's a better third.
My guy's going up against Cody Bellinger and Christian Yelich. That's two of the best players in the game. Mike Trout's awesome, yeah. But who else was? Jose Ramirez was in third? I mean, come on. I don't see your point. Because the thing is, the punishment for the Astros was one of the weakest pieces of bullshit I've ever seen. The punishment, they got a slap on the wrist for 2017. So do you think that their findings were that valid? If their punishment was that invalid? No. People across the majors that year knew that they were cheating. You could look at the footage online. They were clearly cheating. Carlos Beltran, a Met, who I love, now I hate because he was implicated in such a big thing. Alex Cora was fired over this and fired over his 2018 nonsense. This is big. And the growth and the stagnancy, no, he's a great player through and through. 2017, he had a slash line of 301, 403, 937. 2018, he had a slash line of 308, 374, 909. These are consistent years. Maybe he didn't grow by an astronomical rate, which Bregman didn't really grow astronomically, by the way. He just kind of grew. He kind of took baby steps.
His growth has been giving him consistency in the top three third basemen ever since. Yes, they are very consistent in terms of some of their hitting. They go back and forth with one over in home runs, one overs in batting average. But when it comes to stats that matter that show your overall growth, Bregman is way better. He has
what are the stats that matter? What are the stats that matter?
Wins above replacement is one of the greatest stats in all of sports, and he's better than him last year by 2 points, better than him over the last 2 years by 5. Defensive WAR, he's 1.9 to 0.4, and all the defensive stats. Arfield 12 to 2. He has a lower strikeout percentage and a higher walk to strikeout ratio. Everything defensively, Bregman is better. Fielding percentage is greater. 60 more assists, 7 more double plays, higher rate.
In the playoffs, Bregman is choked.
And in the playoffs, I got stats to show why they're the same.
All right. Okay then. Wow. Very heated argument, and we just got into the very first question. Okay. All right. Let's go into your closing arguments right here. Since this is Asher Strength, we're going to go with Amaru right here for his closing, for his final thoughts. 60 seconds will begin when you begin talking.
When it comes to this cheating standard, we can only go off of what we know we've been told. Neither of us are in there, and it has been said that 2017 is the year they definitively cheated. I'm not even including those numbers in what Bregman has been able to do. When you look at the past 2 to 3 years, statistically, defensive and offensively, Bregman has been better overall, especially in wins above replacement, especially in runs, and the fact that he kills him in the amount of times he's been walked compared to Alex Rendon. We talked about the World Series. 1 year does not make you the best right now. 2 years does. But this could be a fluke because Rendon has been going at it for so long, and he's had 3 years consistently of being third, fourth, fifth best third baseman, and then going to the first. Alex Bregman, since 2017, has been talked about as the best third baseman consistently. Number one offensively, number one defensively. There are so many more ways when you look at last year or 2 years to combine, he is better.
All right. Better go closing for Amaru's right here. gonna go with Asher for his closing. 60 seconds will begin when you begin talking.
Of course we can speculate on the matter. We're sports fans. That's what we do. We speculate on cheaters. If he was implicated in the cheating scandal in 2017 and it came out in 2020, who would have thought that he did it again? Because he could have. People thought that he did it again. He will always be a cheater, and his offense will always come into question because he will always be a cheater. Anthony Rendon has never been implicated in something, and he's been consistent across the board since 2017. Even before that, he was very good. He's always been a great player. He had to pick his team up this year and last year because Harper was slumping 2 years ago anyway, and he had to pick himself up this year because Harper left. And guess what? They won a World Series against the Astros, a possibly cheating team that made it to the World Series because they possibly cheated. All of this stuff lines up for you. You could have chosen anybody besides Alex Bregman. There are like 5 better third basemen in the MLB besides Alex Bregman, but you chose him, and I chose Anthony Rendon. I rest my case.
All right. Use the word "I rest my case" thing right here. Okay. All right. 2 very good arguments for both of you right here. Let's go into our judges right here. Make sure write down the name of the person that you write down based on the opening and they're in the 5-minute argument. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. All right, Kevin got a thumbs up. Mehdi have a thumbs up. All right, GB3's thing right here. So write him down. All right, how about? All right. Now he's right. All right. Let's go into our first judge with JB3 on his pick. What do you think? What do you think of the arguments overall, and what do you think who get the point in your eyes?
I mean, goodness gracious, that was really, really difficult to choose. I was paying attention to everything that they said. A lot of things were cheating and being cleared from cheating. I had to kind of take that away, like balance each other out. And very close, very close, very close. But I had to go and give my point to Amaru. He was just a little bit more descriptive on the stats for me. So I picked Amaru. Very close. It was very difficult to choose, but I had to pick him.
All right. We got one Amaru right here. Let's go with Kevin for his. What do you think of the arguments, and who do you think gets the point in your eyes?
As far as the arguments go, Asher came out strong with Rendon taking over the mantle from Harper. His ability to hit and have come back in games, and his Gold Glove nominations, the World Series win. But you got caught up, man, in the cheating stuff, and it's like in the 5-minute round, that's all you were stuck on. And Rue hit that in his opening argument, and I feel like he addressed it. So I feel like that you could have kind of just hit it a little bit and then kind of let that alone. So just based on the percentages and all that Rue gave, I give my point to Amaru.
All right. With that, Amaru takes round number 1, takes the first point. Mehdi, your point wouldn't have mattered though. Which point where you could have got to?
I was kind of in the same boat. I figured I felt like the guys got a little bit caught up in the whole cheating thing of like, does it count? Does this count? But for me, I kind of went a little bit in the opposite direction. I went with Asher just because of the point he said about taking over for Bryce Harper. I mean, Bryce Harper obviously being amazing and then having the next mantle come in. That was kind of the point that pushed it over. But you guys are really going at it, and it's like been 10 minutes. So I'm going to like real quick prep my heart medication to make sure that I can last the next like couple of rounds here.
Yeah.
That Bryce Harper point was a good point, man. It really was.
Yeah.
And I got half the water bottle right here. And then pass for the round 2 yet. So I'm going to keep it very carefully.
If you see me like sweating too much, like I'm going to have to like pause the debate for a bit, but you know how it is.
All right. With that, we got Amaru takes the first point 1-0. Let's go into round number 2 with Amaru's strength, which is the NFL. And since this is sort of our finals match, I put this question out there is this. This is sort of our finals match. And this round 2 question is sort of like a conference championship match. And this question is this. What is the best conference championship game of all time. Since this is Amaru's strength right here, we're going with him with this selection.
I'm going to use my extension right now.
All right. You can use this 1 minute extension on the opening. Okay. Interesting strategy. All right. Timer begins. We begin talking with your extension.
There is no other conference championship in the history of the NFL that has had more story and more history behind it and has lived up to the hype than the 2007 AFC Championship between the Patriots and the Colts. We finally got the clash of two of the greatest quarterbacks of our generation, and possibly ever, plus the golden leg of Adam Vinatieri had moved from the Patriots over to the Colts. And on top of that, Manning at that point had a history of underperforming in the playoffs, being the also-ran little brother to Tom Brady's big brother year after year after year. And in the first half of that game, it kind of looked like much of the same. 21-3, Patriots were up until Peyton Manning drives it 80 yards in 15 plays right before the half to give that golden leg a 28-yarder and make it 21-6. Then they carried that momentum into a third quarter of 200 total yards of Colts offense with Peyton Manning throwing a touchdown and running for another to make it 21-21 with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. And then we got a game where we got one of the greatest shootouts in conference championship history. 30 points in less than a quarter and a half. The Colts are down 34-31 with less than 3 minutes to play. 66-yard drive capped by a 3-yard Joseph Adai touchdown to make it 38-34. Then we got a minute to go. We got Tom Brady. He gets the ball. Fourth quarter drive. Man does what he does. Gets it all the way to the Colts 45 and ends the game on an interception, making it the largest conference championship comeback in history, taking that proverbial chip off of Peyton Manning's back and giving even more story later, allowing him to get his first Super Bowl and first MVP 2 weeks later. Drama beforehand, story in action during it, and more drama later. No conference championship is better.
Why? Wow. Right on the timer right here. He's answered very well. We got Amaru's right as the AFC Championship against the Colts versus Patriots. We'll go with Asher's choice right there for his selection.
Let me use the minute extension. If he's going to do it, I'll do it.
Ooh. All right. There's an extension. This is going to heat up here, just like these conference championship games. I like it. All right. Timer begins. We begin talking.
Listen, he's getting a hard-on because of Brady and Manning because they just had the match with Mickelson and Woods. It's a fine game, but nobody really remembers it as much as they remember the 1981 NFC Championship game known as The Catch with the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. This is so important for multiple reasons. It's not just an incredible game between two powerhouse offenses and two very well-defined defenses. This is a game that shifts the mantle, that changes the guard of dynasties in the NFL. The Cowboys were a perennial favorite every single year going into this game. They destroyed the Buccaneers in the playoffs the week before, 38-0. You have the upstart 49ers who have never made I think they made the playoffs twice in their 40 years before this, and they've never made it to the Super Bowl, never made it to even a championship game before this. And under the guise of Joe Montana and Bill Walsh, they were able to miraculously win this game on an incredible pass to Dwight Clark in the end zone. But, the play is one thing, but beyond that, it is incredible. You have a play that defines a moment. You have a game that defines a moment. It's a back and forth game the entire game. 7-0, 7-7, 10-7, 14-10, 17-14, 21-17, 21-20, 27-21, 28-27. It's back and forth the entire game. And because of this, the 49ers win their first championship ever. And because of this, the Cowboys fall off and never make it back to a single Super Bowl in the 80s. The 49ers end up winning 5 Super Bowls in 12 years and 4 Super Bowls in 9 years under Joe Montana and Bill Walsh. The Cowboys have a quarterback controversy 2 years later because Dan White, of all people, their quarterback, couldn't win in a tough game. This is the game. This is the moment.
Time. All right. We got the catch versus Brady versus Manning in the conference championship game. So this is very interesting matches. I feel like I'm in the conference championship game by listening by the opening. So I can't wait for this right here. The 5-minute debate with one of you begins talking.
You said we don't remember the Pats versus Colts game, and we remember the catch. And you are absolutely right, because the catch is the greatest moment in NFL history. It's in all of the montages. The catch is amazing. But what we don't remember is how trash the rest of that game was. It is absolutely sloppy. There were 9 total turnovers in that game. San Francisco committing 6 of them. Cowboys committing 3 of them with 2 additional fumbles that they recovered themselves. San Francisco also had over 100 yards in penalties on top of that. You talked about how the Cowboys were so dominant. How can you be the most dominant team for years on years and can't capitalize on 6 turnovers and 100 yards in penalties? You talked about going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It is easy to do that when it is getting turned over every other drive. The catch is amazing. The game was sloppy.
It's a hard-nosed football game. That happens. You want to talk about shitty plays? How about 2 fumbles that were recovered in the end zone for touchdowns? That's bullshit. That's weird, wacky gameplay that shouldn't be in the NFL. You want to talk about something else? How about a stripped fumble that was recovered by the Patriots and got them a first down? How about a broken up interception that ended up being called back because of a pass interference? These are things that are just gimmies in this game. It is a shootout. Sure, you are right. There is no defense in this game whatsoever. And for me, I actually like defense in my football. I like a defining moment like, how about a game-saving tackle? In the end of the game, Drew Pearson was going to get a touchdown. He got tackled. And guess who then and after the tackle, then was a forced fumble that sealed the game. These are defensive moments. Yes, 6 interceptions is not great in the game, but it is pretty fun to see this back and forth happen. In your game, it's just 2 quarterbacks playing a game, and it ends up being kind of tedious, honestly. It's just, I'm sick and tired of Manning and Brady, because you talk about them all the time, but the Colts surrendered 5.33 rushing yards per game that year, per attempt that year, mind you. That is the worst that's the 7th worst in NFL history and the worst since the merger. So if you want to talk about defense, if you want to talk about sloppy play, they gave that to the Patriots, and they managed to come back, sure. But if you want to talk about postseason comebacks, that's not even one of the best. I can name you 5 better. You got the Patriots in the Super Bowl, in Super Bowl 51. You got the Bills against the Oilers. You got the Chiefs against the Texans this past year. You got the Colts doing it against the Chiefs 45-44. So this isn't even the best comeback.
Neither of them were greater comebacks in terms of points and time period than the Colts. You want to talk about defense in your game? How can you have defense when each team scored over 27 points each? You keep talking about the last drive of the game and what's going on in there. 3 turnovers compared to 9 turnovers is nothing. And before that, you talk about powerhouse offenses. How you going to have powerhouse offenses when neither of your quarterbacks threw over 300 yards? Neither of the running backs out of 5 ran over 100 yards. Tony Dorsett, the guy who's supposed to be the guy, went 91 on 22, didn't go more than 11 yards in 1 run. I'm telling you, your game had 1 moment, 1 drive, while mine's had defense, offense, and field goals, capped off by 2 of the greatest offensive performances and a great comeback. And I can talk about how the field goals made a difference. And you brought up the point that defense showed up when it needed to for both of my squads in my game. Mine was way better.
There's no defense in your game whatsoever.
When the Colts were losing, in that 4th quarter, guess what happened? That fumble in the end zone that you talked about that put him back in the game.
Yeah,
the 2 before that, the Patriots got 2 defensive defensive touchdowns early in the game in order to go up 21-3. So it wasn't even Brady's offense early. It was the Patriots' defense early, Brady's offense.
You're talking about a game with a comeback. That's great. I'm talking about a game that channeled the rest of the 80s. I'm talking about a game that birthed the West Coast offense, that launched the 49ers dynasty. The 49ers lost the 3 past times they were in the playoffs to the Cowboys. How painful does that feel if they lose this game? Very painful. You want to know about that catch? It was on a broken play with Eddie Too Tall Jones. He's named because he's too tall, because he broke it up and ended up throwing it on his back foot to Dwight Clark in the end.
AKA sloppy. I'm glad he had hops, but it was a broken play. It was a broken play, and you want to talk about changing the landscape? I will tell you about changing the landscape a little later.
From 2 of 14 to 13-3 in 2 years, they won the NFC Championship.
Time. Wow. Okay. This is really heated right here. This is very heated. I wonder if those championships feel right here. So my rider's almost gone based on that. So, okay. All right, let's go into your closings. This is Amar's. Since Amar went first, I'm going to go with Asher for his closing. 60 seconds will begin when you begin talking.
Every great game has a great moment. The fact that you're detracting from my game because it has a great moment is kind of bullshit, because every great game has a great moment. I cannot recollect that game and bring up a great moment from that game. I can recollect 2 fumbles recovered in the end zone for touchdowns, which is weird, but not really great. It's kind of just odd. I can recollect, the fact that, I don't know, there was a stripped fumble. It was just hard-nosed football in my game. You had the birth of an era in my game. You had the birth of a new dynasty in my game. You had the changing of the guard in my game. You had Dwight Clark. You had Ronnie Lott. You had Ernest Walls, Tony Dorsett, Joe Montana, Drew Pearson, Eddie Too Tall Jones, and you had Vin Scully calling my game, mind you. And I know I shouldn't mention that much. That is the one extra information that I'm going to mention. It's not that big. But you have a team who was starting from nowhere, and they built themselves to the top this year.
All right. We're going to go closing on Asher right here. I'm going to go Amaru right here for his closing. Timer begins when you begin talking.
I'm not using the catch to detract from your game. I'm using the catch to say your game went from maybe top 10 to number 2 conference championship in the game, because that catch was such a great moment. But the rest of the game was bad. It actually improved your game to be still not as good as mine. Not as good as mine that you talked about changing of the guard. I mentioned it before. Peyton Manning had a horrible playoff performance beforehand, and that changed his old mindset afterwards. My game had your game. All marquee players did not show up like they should have until the end. Mine had defense in the beginning and defense in the end. It had offense towards the end. Field goals made a difference. All aspects, special teams, defense, and offense, made it great. And it was capped by a quarter and a half of absolutely entertaining football with back and forth, with offense, field goals, with defense, with everything your game had in one drive.
Time. All right. Very good closing arguments for both of you. Let's go to our judges right here. Write down the person who would give them the point. Bring a thumbs up if you're ready. All right. Guys, see a thumbs up for JV3. Thumbs up for my D. Let's just finish it up. All right. All right. With that, I'm going to go with Kevin on this one right here to start off. And this is probably a hard one, and I hope you might start it up right here. Kevin, what do you think of the arguments and who deserves the point?
This was really hard. Excellent job by both of you. Excellent. I know you put a lot of study into this one, both of you. I'm still trying to collect all my thoughts here. Amaru, you told me a really great story when you laid out your opener. I like that a lot. you kept it confined to the actual AFC Championship game. And that's something that you started with the beginning, and you told me exactly what happened third to the end. Whereas Asher, you're kind of all over the place, but you gave me the information, and then you told me what happened after, as far as the Cowboy quarterback controversy, the dynasty, this, that, and the other. In my mind, going for what is the greatest championship game, conference championship game, that is how I'm going to judge this. And so, just based on the game itself, you did say, Asher, there's no defense, and Amaru came right back with, there was the definitely the defense. The Colts recover that fumble. If they don't, then the Patriots probably take it. There's 1.5 quarters of nonstop action. So as much as it's by the thinnest of margins, but I'm going to give it to Amaru.
All right. We got 1-0 Amaru. Let's go to my D on this one right here for his selection, and also your thoughts on the arguments.
Yeah. Okay, so based on the arguments and based on the question, so you guys did talk a lot about the legacy of the games and like what happened afterwards and changing of the guards and stuff like that. So similar to Kevin, I did take that kind of out of there just because I wanted to focus on the actual argument of the game itself. Although the legacy aspect does add a huge portion to it, I wanted to focus on. I kind of had the same thought process as Kevin. I'm going to focus on the game and just like leave it at that. And based on that, I heard a lot. You guys both really went at each other about what part was good about the other person's and like what was boring and what like where the ranking is. Amaru made a point about how it was a top 10 game before, and then the catch happened and it put it in the top 2, obviously against his where he thought he was number 1. But I felt as though I heard more from Asher in terms of how Amaru's game was kind of just like, other than the 1.25, it was not really like all there. If my words are making sense at all at this point. So it was kind of more like Asher was arguing about how his overall game was better, whereas Amaru's was kind of like just like a certain couple things here. So for me, I'm going with Asher this round.
All right, we got 1-0.
I don't know if any of that made sense, but I'm saying it and I'm hoping it works.
All right, we got 1-1 tie. All right, JB3, you're the decision maker right here, though.
JB, this is on you now.
Whoa there, bud. Yeah, that was a really, really good like debate again. For me this time it was a little bit more clear just because Asher, you were talking a lot about the moment. And I wanted to hear more about why your game wasn't trash, because Rue was just, saying it was a trash game, and he really, really nailed his game, especially with his extension. I think he took advantage of his extension very, very, very well. And I had to give my point to Rue. Not to take anything away from Asher, it's just Rue was just on point with everything.
All right. All right, with that, we got 2 Amaru leads 2-0. And wow, that is a very good argument. I'll just say that right now. This is really a great argument by both of you right here. Both of you put some great choices right here. And we're going to round number 3, and this is very crucial for you, for Asher. You need to get this point to stay alive in this game right here, though. So let's go into your strength, which is NBA. And the question is this: which NBA player who had the best rookie season of all time? Asher, this is your strength. You will go first with your selection.
The 1980s of the NBA were decided by flip of a coin. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird in the 1979 NCAA championship game was one of the best games ever. And then by the flip of a coin, the Lakers got Magic Johnson because of the trade. And he ended up having one of the best, if not the best, rookie season in NBA history. He ended up playing multiple positions. He was 6'9", mind you, and Jack McKinney made Johnson a point guard. That is revolutionizing the game in itself. You see everybody nowadays, Giannis, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, big guys driving to the basket, facilitating the ball. That's all because of Magic Johnson in his rookie season. You have incredible stats. You have an 81% free throw percentage, 53% field goal percentage, 12.3 field goals attempted per game, 7.7 rebounds per game, 2.4 steals per game, 18 points per game, 7.3 assists per game. Magic Johnson has a win share of 10.5.
Time. All right. Asher is very good select with Magic Johnson. We'll go over Amaru right here for his selection.
There are only two people in the history of the NBA who have ever won MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same year. The first was Wilt Chamberlain, and the second was Wes Unseld, and nobody has ever matched that since. And nobody has matched the wildly ridiculous stats and accolades as a rookie since Wilt Chamberlain. He is absolutely monstrous. 37.6 points per game, 27 rebounds per game, regular season records. He still holds the rookie record for most points, highest points per game average, most points in a single game. He only needed 56 games to get to 2,102 points, beating the single season record at that point by Bob Pettit, which he took 72 games with to do, and then added 600 more points on top of that to end the season. That season, Wilt Chamberlain led finish per game, points per game, field goals, field goal attempts, free throw attempts, total rebounds, rebounds per game, player efficiency rating, win shares per 48, was the 1960 All-Star MVP, league MVP, all-league first MVP. Crazy.
Time. All right. Very good selections right here with Asher with Magic Johnson versus Amaru's choice with Wilt Chamberlain. The timer begins when you begin talking.
I'm going to just mention this. Your competition was terrible. I mean, you had 8 teams in the NBA, and 4 of them had a record of worse than, I believe it's worse than 400, which is really bad. And 3 of those teams made the playoffs. The only remarkable player I can name besides Wilt Chamberlain is Bill Russell. So Magic Johnson had to face incredibly tough competition. Moses Malone, Julius Erving, Larry Bird, Rick Barry, George Gervin, Dennis Johnson, Paul Westphal. And he ended up getting a championship out of it and winning Finals MVP. He's the only rookie to ever win Finals MVP. He put this team on his back in the finals. He ended up playing multiple positions. He played center, guard, and forward in that game. Also, beyond that, he played center, guard, and forward throughout his entire season. Your guy played center for a team that ended up being okay, but ended up playing not really great competition and was a ball hog anyway. You talked about his stats. I mean, he had, 34 attempts per game? That's a lot. I mean, he ended up making those points because he was a ball hog who played against poor competition. My guy ended up, yeah.
You want to talk about competition? He played with 4 of the top 50 players in NBA history. Bob Pettit, Bob Cousy, Elgin Baylor, who also had one of the best rookie seasons ever. And you brought it up. The best player at Wilt Chamberlain's position, arguably, and definitely the best defensive mind ever as a center in Bill Russell. And since there's only 8 teams, he had to play him more, and Wilt Chamberlain still gave him a 30-piece with 50% shooting percentage and 27 rebounds per game in the playoffs against Bill Russell, and they still lost to Bill Russell's team. So you want to talk about parity? He may have dominated, but his team lost to Bill Russell, who was much better. Your player you picked, half the points of Wilt, 20 less rebounds than Wilt. But let's even go past that. There are legit at least 10 other players who had a better rookie season than Magic, but I'm going to focus on 3. 2 others who were point guards. Oscar Robinson had a better rookie season with better points, rebounds, and assists than Magic Johnson, almost averaging a triple-double. And then Allen Iverson also had a better one with more points per game than Magic, more assists.
Did
per
Allen
game than
Iverson
Magic.
win a championship? Did Allen Iverson's team actually make it to the playoffs? No, because his team was trash. Okay, so before you put out stats, you also want to put out competition and how the team fared. My team won the NBA championship. My guy won the NBA Finals MVP. My guy put the team on his back in Game 6 to have an incredible stat line, which is 42 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. He played forward, center, and guard that game. He played forward, center, and guard the entire season. This is a very versatile man. Your guy played center against Bill Russell, and guess what? He did lose. My guy played against Larry Bird, and guess what? He did win. So if you want to
Except the Rookie of the Year, he didn't win that.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. He doesn't have to win Rookie of the Year. He won Rookie of the Month twice. He won Rookie of the Week 4 times. That doesn't matter in that case, okay? That's okay that he didn't win Rookie of the Year. He did win Finals MVP, which is pretty important. My guy ended up taking a mediocre Lakers team and putting them into the championship. My guy ended up playing against fantastic competition. Allen Iverson, whatever. You know, your guy ended up playing against pretty shit players. The Pistons were 30 and 45 and they made it to the playoffs. The Lakers were 25 and 40 and 25 and 50 and made it to the playoffs. My teams had all fantastic records that they ended up having to face. My guys ended up having incredible numbers that they ended up having to face. This is supposed to be the turning of the modern NBA. The modern NBA, and it came with Magic Johnson coming into the league.
Except the fact that he had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on his team. You want to talk about how the fact that he won Finals MVP. He won Finals MVP because Kareem got injured after the 5th game, and then Magic came in and won the 6th. You know,
and he
would not have won that. He would not have won that MVP if Kareem did not get hurt. And again, it's only one extra game. Let's compare their stats. Kareem got injured. And had one less game, he still averaged 10 points more per game. He still averaged 2 more rebounds per game. He had 38 more points in that series with 53 less minutes than Magic.
Then why did Kareem never win a championship?
If Kareem dominated that series, not Magic. If Kareem did not get injured, Magic would not have been in contention for MVP.
Why did Kareem not win a championship before Magic?
Because Magic is an amazing point guard, and you need all points. But Kareem is the best center of all time. Period. You talk about parity.
Kareem's the best center of all time.
Oh no. See, Bill Russell's the best defensive center. Kareem is the best. Period.
Time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Interesting indeed. There's arguments right here. All right, let's go into our closings. Since this is Asher talk first, we'll go Amaru right here for his closing. 60 seconds will begin when you begin talking.
Wilt Chamberlain's rookie season is absolutely demolishing anything that anybody ever touches. And he had to go up against Bill Russell and Elgin Baylor down in that post all the time. And he came in and showed up the best defensive mind center and showed him he's nowhere near close. You can even look at future years and saw that it's not a fluke that rookie season happened. Magic Johnson played with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The only thing he didn't win Rookie of the Year. He had 2 point guards that had better rookie seasons with better points and assists. And he won Finals MVP because Kareem had to leave with 1 game left. He wouldn't have been thought about for Finals MVP if Kareem played that 1 extra game. Not at all. Magic Johnson is amazing. He's one of the best point guards to ever do it. But he did not have better rookie season than one of the best centers of all time. When he played, he absolutely dominated everything he touched it. First in about 50 stats. That's an exaggeration, yes, but he dominated with nobody even touching it.
Time. All right. We got on his closing right here. We're going to go with Asher right here for his closing. 60 seconds will begin when you begin talking.
Yeah, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a great player, but he never won a championship. So I don't know what that argument's about. If he wanted to win a championship against Julius Erving, he could have stayed and skipped games, but he got injured. So that's how it happened. I'm not going to sugarcoat the mess. It's how it happened, and it's how it happened, and he won the game. You're talking about Wilt Chamberlain. He faced terrible competition. 4 out of the 8 teams were under 500 that season, and 3 of those teams made the playoffs. I mentioned this earlier. I mean, yes, Bill Russell is a good player, but that's the guy you name. And Elgin Baylor's a good player, and that's the guy you name. I named you 8 guys, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. The competition in the 79 season was incredible. Magic Johnson ushered in the new era of the NBA by being an incredibly versatile player that people can look on, like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Giannis. They all play the same style of play that point guard Magic Johnson can play because he plays multiple positions. Your guy plays a great center who had great stats, who padded his stats and was a ball hog against very weak competition.
All right. Wow. This is being intrigued indeed. All right, judges, write down the person you want. All right, you got thumbs up for J3, thumbs up for my E. All right, I gotta wait for Kevin to get his response. All right, got a thumbs up for you, Kevin. All right, let's start with my D on this one. Just want to give you who have the better argument and who deserves the point.
You guys are just killing me today. You know that? Like, this actually hurts. Based on the arguments, so the question was who had the best season, right?
Rookie
The best
season.
rookie season. And you guys both took it in 2 different ways. I mean, Magic had a phenomenal rookie season, coming second to Larry Bird in Rookie of the Year voting, but winning a championship and Finals MVP, whereas Wilt Chamberlain somehow became MVP and Rookie of the Year all in 1 year, but didn't win the championship. So it's both successful in different ways, and it's kind of hard to, say one is better than the other. But so what it really came down to for me was like a minor, or not really a minor point, but like the point of how the records and the teams that Wilt had to go against were not as good. And full disclosure, I love the old school players. Bob Pettit is an underrated power forward in my opinion. I think that era does not get enough credit for how good those players were. Especially guys like Elgin Baylor and those guys, some of the guys you mentioned. But when you look at the guys in the 80s that or coming from the 70s and into the 80s that Magic played against in that year, where he was going up against Dr. J and obviously Larry Bird at the beginning of his career and George Gervin, who was just a killer back then. It comes down to, I mean, he had a really great, they're both really great rookie seasons, but for Wilt, it was just one guy in his way, really, where it was Bill Russell, whereas Magic had to go through a fuck ton of them. So I'm going with Asher and Magic Johnson. Although, to be fair, Wilt, you were this close with Wilt. Had he not brought up the records of like guys who made the playoffs for like 22 wins and 30 wins, and they made the playoffs, and that's who we had to go against, I would have been like, all right, that's Asher, but that's it for Asher. But yeah, no, you guys fucking killing me here.
All right, we got 1-0 Asher. Let's go into JB3 for his thoughts and the arguments and who deserves the point.
Oh my goodness gracious, that was crazy. So for this round, for me, Asher, you pretty much just nailed it, man. You doubled down on the tough competition versus the terrible competition. You doubled down on the multi positions, and then the whole fact about winning a championship. Now, Wilt Chamberlain, Rue, you went, obviously you went the stats, but the terrible competition thing kind of got me. And Asher really just doubled down on so many different aspects, positive for his choice and negative for your choice. I had to give my point to Asher for this round.
All right. With that, Asher avoids the knockout right here. He finally scores round 3 right here. We got 2-1. Now we get a game right here. Kevin, your point wouldn't have mattered. Which point you could have gone to?
I agree with these guys. Rue, you came on strong, man, with the Wilt Chamberlain choice. I love both choices. But Asher just had too much, I think, in terms of, the revolutionizing of the game, the 6'9" point guard taking that chance versus the crazy good competition. He still was 81% field goals. He played center, guard, forward. I mean, that's just crazy to think about in those days. And then to still put the team on his back after the Kareem injury. I know that you did try to put up a fight against that, Rue. You almost put yourself in a real corner when you said Kareem was the best center, but but yeah, I would have gone with Asher for sure.
All right. We got 2-1 D. Now we get a game indeed. Let's go into round number 4. Round number 4. This is going to be the nail biter. I'll just say that right now. Round number 4 is this. If Root gets this point right here, he will move on. And Asher gets this, we'll get a tie game and move on to the speed round. And we're going to round number 4, which is Root's strength of the NCAA. And the question I put out is this. Who is the best NCAA basketball coach of the 2010s? So since this is Aru's strength right here, we're going to start with him with his selection.
When you think about domination in basketball, period, some names come up. Auerbach and Russell with their 11 rings, Phil with his 6 rings and 5 rings, and Luigi Gino Auriemma with absolute dominance in women's NCAA basketball. He is the fastest coach in all of NCAA history to 1,000 wins, which he did in 2017. And then let's look at 2010. 4 national championships in a row from 2013 to 2016, with 5 in the decade in 2010. 2 undefeated seasons with a win streak record of 90-game win streak. And then when they lost a few years later, up that with a 111-game win streak. He had a Final Four appearance in each of the 10 years of this decade, 16 conference regular season and tournament championships, and haven't dropped out of the top 4 in AP since 2007. And he's been there since 1985, meaning everybody's going there for him and his 35 years of consistency.
Time. All right. Let's go with Asher for his selection right here. And what do you have you pick?
Okay, so if you're talking about excellency, you're talking about the competition that they play. You're talking about how you recruit when it comes to being a head coach. And you talk about the players you coach. My guy is a 35-year veteran coach. He coached for Army, and then he coached for Duke. And that is Coach K. He is an incredible coach who is the first Division I men's basketball coach to reach 1,000 wins. He has made the tournament 36 of 39 years in the tourney and 35 years of the past 36, making it the second longest streak behind Kansas. That is incredible. He is the most winning active coach in NCAA tourney play, 97-30 with a 764 record. He has 15 AAC champs. He has 2 national championships in the 2010s, and he has made, I believe, 3 Final Fours. So that is very impressive, but it's the competition he faced and the players he recruited that makes him so great.
Time. All right. We got Amaru Moses. I hope I pronounced his last name correctly.
Auriemma.
Yeah, that. With Asher's, with Coach K. 2 excellent head coaches right here. And I just would tell you the timer will begin. The 5 minutes will begin when he begins talking.
Everything you just mentioned, Auriemma has in spades. You talk about recruiting. He recruited Maya Moore, Tina Charles, and Brianna Stewart because they went to him because he was in same years as Coach K, UConn for 35 years. That means they went for his program, his ideals, his way of playing. He was the reason why he did that. You want to talk about competition? He has been dominant all of the 2010s, but the competition has become even better in the 2010s because in the last 4 years, there have been 4 different winners of the championship in Ladies Championship with the Notre Dame being their record. But that shows the parity. That shows the parity why he still has the dominance. He's in Final Four every single year, but that doesn't mean he's blowing everybody out the water. Notre Dame got rid of him twice. Mississippi got rid of him. Baylor, Louisville, Stanford, Oregon have resurged to show that the competition is also there. But even with that competition, Gino Auriemma in the entire 2010s has been a name, and UConn is consistently the best. When you want to compare the two, nobody is comparable to Gina. There are at least 4 coaches I can think of in the 2010s that are comparable to Coach K.
Okay, you want to talk about competition. In women's college basketball, there have been 15 different teams out of the possible 40 in the Final Four. 15 different teams. In the college basketball tourney of the men's side, you have 25. That is a lot of variation. In your league, you have him playing in the AAC. In the AAC, I think once you had in the standings, you had 2 teams besides UConn with a ranked record by the end of the season. That is not good. You have 2 teams with that. Each year he won and got perfect. He barely had any competition. He had maybe Louisville, maybe. But besides that, it was a bunch of not really great competition. My coach has had to face in the ACC incredible competition with UNC, Miami, Florida State, UCF. He has been able to coach Zion Williamson and recruit him. He's been able to get Jason Tatum, Brandon Ingram, Seth Curry, Kyrie Irving, Mason Plumlee, Austin Rivers, Jabari Parker, Rodney Hood, Marvin Bagley Jr., RJ Barrett, and Cam Reddish. That is some recruiting. And yes, he has been in the coaching for Duke for 35 years as well. And he is the most winningest coach of college basketball history. So if you want to put some respect on Gino Auriemma's name, you might as well put some respect on Coach K's name. He is an incredible coach with incredible competition. Your teams in the Final Four and in the tournament, the 1 versus 8, the 1 wins 48 out of 49 times. 1 versus 9 wins 52 out of 54 times. 2 versus 7, 49 out of 13, 49 and 13. 2 versus 10, 31 and 3. 3 versus 6, 45 and 22. All of these are better than a 600 winning percentage when it comes to the higher seed. Mine are very different. The 12 versus 5 is completely sandwiched, and all of the competition is much harder in mine. Yes,
that goes to Gino Auriemma's coaching. The parity in women's basketball is there. He has been coaching for 35 years.
No.
When we look at 2010s, no matter what kind of competition you have, being in the Final Four 10 years in a row, recruiting, as you said, the top talent from other places every single year gets him on that pedestal. When it comes to Coach K, yes, he's a legend. But in the 2010s, Coach Williams had more ACC regular season titles than Duke. Coach Cal had made Coach K switch up his coaching style. Coach Bennett had 4 of the last 6 ACC regular titles and 2 of those tourney titles over Coach K. Coach Wright is the other man who also had 2, but also had 3 Big East attorneys. There are comparable coaches in the 2010s to Coach K.
You want me to argue this? You want me to argue this?
Auriemma in 2010s or in women's history, period. But in 2010s,
Coach Wright had a losing season in the 2010s. Coach Calipari was committed in a FBI scandal, I believe, so I didn't want to choose him. You had Roy Williams, who had a terrible season this last year with great help. So Coach K is above all 4 of those guys.
Coach K had 2 first-round exits in 2012 and 2014. All of your coaches has had something go wrong.
Gino Auriemma, your competition is so poor, it's just laughable to me. It's ridiculous to me. Yes, UConn has won a lot, but it's because they're facing maybe Louisville, maybe Oregon last year. That's about it. I mean, I don't see a very big disparity. My guy is recruited for 35 years, incredible players, because they want to come to Duke and they win at Duke.
Time. Wow. I didn't know you're putting the FBI into this argument, but okay then. All right. Very good arguments for both of you right here. I'm going to go with Asher since Amaru talked first right here. I'm going with Asher right here for his closing. 60 seconds will begin when you begin talking.
Okay, you want to talk about his coaching style change. That's fine. He changed it. He's a very versatile man, and he's actually changed his ability with one-and-done players. That's also very remarkable. Gino Auriemma's competition, there are very few good women's college basketball teams, and so his lack of competition really shows. There's no real trickle-down when it comes to the Final Four and the tourney as a whole, and Coach K has had to face several different teams. In the 2015, I'm not going to mention that because I can't, but the fact of the matter is, when you're talking about Coach Gino Auriemma, he has not had to face really any good teams. He has had to face Louisville, maybe, Oregon, maybe last year. But when you talk about Coach K, he has been a rock to stand by. He has been a guy you need by your side. He has been with players like Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett. He's been with players like Kyrie Irving, Brandon Ingram, Jason Tatum. I have listed several players who have gone pro and been all-stars in the NBA because that is his recruiting process, that's his competition, and that's his ability to win.
Time. All right. Now I'm going to Amaru's right here for his closing 60 seconds. We'll be there. We'll begin talking.
The landscape of women's NCAA basketball is the landscape it is because of Coach Gino Auriemma. You said the recruiting competition. They recruited at Duke because they want to go to Duke. They recruited at UConn because they want to go to UConn. You want to talk about parity and not many competition. Again, the last 4 years, the best parity in NCAA Women's Championship. Last 4 years, 4 different teams have won the national championship. Notre Dame has beat them. Mississippi State has beat them. Baylor has beat them. Louisville is a top team. Stanford is a top team. Oregon is a top team. You got your top competition. And no matter what you do, in 35 years, Gino Auriemma has created that in the last 10 years. Final Four every time. 2 ridiculous win streaks. I don't care what your competition is. You're not going 90 games in a row and 111 games in a row. You're not going 4 titles in a row in a decade unless your coach is absolutely dominant. Coach K is great, but he's had people comparable to him. Nobody is comparable to Auriemma in the 2010s.
All right. Very good closings for both Asher and Amaru. Judges, write down who gets the point. Thumbs up when you're ready. All right. Make sure everybody get thumbs up. Everybody's ready. 3, Kevin. Waiting. Let's wait for Nadia to finish up.
Let's go.
All right. Everybody's ready. Let's start off with JB3 right here. And let me see what he think of the arguments and who do you got? Who gets the point for you?
Wow. This question for me was the closest one. This one was just like, it was back and forth. And to be honest, it's really difficult to compare both of your answers because they're in different leagues. But I think they are. I really don't know. No, but after everything, the last minute I had to make my choice, and Asher, everything you said was good. You almost had it nailed with the talking about the relationships and stuff that he was building with the players. But Rue got the point because at the end he tied in everything, the 4 national titles, the two streaks, the dominant, the 10 years and the Final Four. Like, he brought everything together for me, so I had to give my point to Rue.
All right, we got 1-0 to Amaru right here. Let's go with Madi on here for his thoughts on the argument and who deserves the point.
First of all, yeah, I agree. Like, this was like the toughest argument that you guys have both pulled out. And it is a little bit difficult to judge because although they're both NCAA basketball coaches, they're kind of on the opposite ends of what they're doing. That being said, based on the arguments, I had to go with Amaru as well. Simply because, that UConn win streak was historic, not just in women's basketball, but in basketball in general. And Asher, if you had brought up, I think 2015 was the one that you remembered in the closing, it might have swayed me the other way.
I couldn't bring up another point.
Yeah, during the closing, and it's just because of how much time we have, and I respect you for holding back because it's, heat of the moment, you kind of forget, and it's a nutty thing to do, but that win streak and then just the fact that they won 4 titles in the last decade as well. And for me, that's what it was. I mean, Asher, you brought in some great points about like how he's able to change his coaching style and be diverse in how he coaches the players that he comes up with, like Kyrie or Tatum or even Zion. Like all 3 of those guys require different designs for like how to run plays through them and everything. And to be able to adapt like that is amazing. Had you brought a little bit more on that as well, I would have given it to you. But it was just like I read over my notes like 2 minutes ago, and it was just like you went on so many different points, but Amaru kind of focused in on this guy wins like consistently, whereas yours were kind of like the competition's different and the style is different and like he can coach different players. Like had you put in a little bit more into one of those things, then I probably would have gone the other way. But just the way it went, man, like right now, again, like I say this a couple times every now and then, it's like ask me in 5 minutes, I'll change my decision. Any other judge might give it the other way, but for me, man, I gotta go with Amaru on this particular moment.
All right, with that, and your winner, and the winner of the Rookies Tournament of Sports Brawl, and moving on for the special surprise, the Real Bear, Amaru Moses. Congratulations, buddy. Did it. I'm going to go with Kevin right here. Kevin, your point would have mattered, though. Which point would it could have gone to?
I also agree with JB3 and Madid that it's tough, man, when you have to judge based on a men's coach and a women's coach, because you're basically having to keep that in your mind the whole time when you got the stats and everything. But you can't argue with 111 game win streak, 16 conference wins in a row, 10 years in the Final Four. And then, Asher, you did your best talking about the competition, but, Amaru brought up, Notre Dame, Baylor, Stanford, even competition within the AAC. He didn't bring it up, but Rutgers, like teams like that, are nobody to scoff at. So I mean, my point would have gone to Rue as well.
All right. I just want to say congratulations, Amaru. You did it. And before I interview you, I'm just gonna interview kind of the unfortunate second place, Asher right here. Asher, just want to say chin up right here. You did a great job though. You came very close to coming back, though. You really came very close, though. And how you feeling right now? It's a tough fight. I'll say that right now.
I'm a little sad. I'm a little angry. But ultimately, yeah, Rue put in a really good fight. I do want to mention in the second round, the defense. That wasn't the defensive play, Kevin. That was an offensive play. The center fell on the ball. I just wanted to mention that, but I don't think that would have really ultimately mattered. I just wanted to mention that. But I mean, like it's just interesting because certain rounds, like you mention a lot of different facts, and that round maybe you want to go focus, and then you focus on something in a specific other round, and that one you might want to mention a bunch of other facts. So I guess I needed to choose my moments better. Ultimately, I was upset I didn't mention stuff in the arguments, but I mean, I'm not gonna take away what Rue did. His win's really, really good, and I was not gonna beat Gino Orion anyway. that was I going into this, I was like, I had the first one in the bag, so I might as well win one of the next two because I'm not gonna win, and I lost the first one, so that was yeah. So overall, kind of angry, pretty sad, but very happy because I know I faced a really good competitor with really good arguments who ended up winning. So hats off to you.
Appreciate it.
And I just want to say, Asher, right here, you will be back in the Sports Brawl League right here. And we ain't seen the last of you throughout Sports Brawl right here. You are really a great competitor around with that. You best right here to win this right here. Unfortunately, it didn't go in your favor, but I just want to say congratulations. You put up a great fight right here, and you did excellent.
Thanks.
All right, let's interview our winner, Mr. Amaru the Rubear Moses himself. I just want to say congratulations. You did it, and right here. And just want to know how you feeling.
Man, I feel good. I feel good because I have in the last 2 rounds versus Ethan and now versus Asher, I've had to face competition that makes me worried every single round. Going into it, I knew we were going to go 4. There was only 1 round where I felt like I think I have this beforehand, and that was the NFL one. But I knew even at the end of the baseball one, I was like, that could go either way. That really could. And I knew the last 2 were going to be with my picks. I couldn't not pick Wilt because Wilt is just monstrous, and I couldn't not pick Gino. But I was like, he's going to go after competition. He's going to go after competition. He's going to go after competition. So I had to, like, I'm glad I got that first baseball one because that gave me, like, all right, I might drop one of the last 2 because it's going to be hard to do because Asher knows how to go back at it. But I'm ultimately glad to pick up this win and glad to go through the competition I did because him, Asher, and Nikki's tends to just want to argue over you and over you and over you to make you frustrated. All 3 of y'all have been amazing bouts to go against, and I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, indeed. All right. I just want to tell you, not only you won the rookies tournament right here, and here I'm going to tell you the special surprise.
Oh, he gets the ice cream cake? Oh, that's so lame.
Well, it is not the ice cream cake.
You lied to us.
Well, false advertising. All right. Let me tell you the actual surprise. Amar, not only you're the winner of the rookies tournament, not only are you going to face a certain veteran of Sports Brawl right here, but not only are you going to face a veteran who's been in a couple of matches before, but you're also going to be playing not only him and that certain person, but you're going to play for the championship match. Championship belt itself.
Thank you.
And I was trying to get this person on, but I don't know if he's been sort of been busy lately, or I just tried to bring this on, but
Wait, let's see.
Well, he's off. Oh.
Hey!
Surprise!
My guy! 225,000 favorite papa in this entire family. Guy, you know what's up?
Oh, Amaru. Wow, I have fallen. Congratulations on winning this rookie tournament. I don't know what you did to upset Jonathan, because it is I, Papa West, who you will be facing in the championship for the Sports Brawl. And I've already had a shot at the championship, and I came up short. And you best believe that I will stop at nothing to get that belt. It's a nice belt, and I'm ready for it. So, Amaru, congratulations, but I'm sorry for the beating that you will go through when I win this.
You sure? You sure there was another man in my head, but I knew he wasn't coming back, so I guess I have to go with the second place guy coming through. That's fine. That's fine. I'm ready for you, man. I love you, but I'm ready for you.
You're not ready for this, Amaru.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm actually glad I get to watch this and not have to participate in this. It's
Yeah.
gonna be fun.
yeah, that's right. You're going to be facing everybody's 25th favorite dad in the families, Mr. Papa West himself, for the
Everyone
championship
changes his
match
ranking all
of
the
Sports
time.
Brawl.
I swear he was 30th last
Yeah.
week.
You're going to be facing for the championship. Well, they're interchangeable. What are you going to do? You're going to face him for the championship match in Sports Brawl during Scratch and Claw 2. That's right. You're going to be facing somewhere in June right here for the championship match. And just want to say, be ready for him. He ain't sort of slow fire along with it. So be prepared what he's about to do. All right.
You ready?
Just wanted to give sort of our shout outs going. All right, he's ready. And let's go to our judges right here. And just wanted to figure out, you can't wait for the match, and also can't wait for this upcoming championship match. You'll be proceeding. We'll start with JB3.
Oh wow! See, this was a great match, a great surprise. It was also, but yeah, this like out of all the debate matches that I've judged, this was so close. Asher, you're a great debater. I mean, it was really like the first question for me. I had to literally just like ponder. Like I was that was I've never had that happen before. I was looking at my notes and it was pretty much almost dead even. I'm just like, what do I do? And I had to really, really dig deep. And I haven't had to do that yet. And I thought that was cool. And Rue, I'm excited for you too. You get to go and you get to fight for the championship match. Congratulations on your win, and congratulations to you, Asher, for being a great competitor. And I appreciate you guys letting me judge this.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Thanks.
Let's go ahead with Kevin right here, and you can't wait to see for this upcoming championship match and the match we just had.
Yeah, this was a great one. First off, good job, Asher. Sorry about that little, whatever I might have messed up there. I just was going off my notes, but
No problem. I just wanted to mention it.
yeah, I feel you.
It wouldn't matter. It's fine.
I got you. But anyway, yeah, don't hang your head at all. You did what you do, which is awesome debating. Madi and I both have been in this position for several times now, and it's awesome to be in the position of having two great debaters to watch and listen to, and to be sitting there staring at my board, just like, I have to make a decision now, but I don't know which one I want to make, which one I really, it's like Madi said, you asked me in 5 minutes, I could easily probably say, the other person maybe could have won that by a hair. So it's tough, but yeah, man, this was awesome, and I really look forward to that championship match. I think Brew has what it takes. I love Papa West, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
All right.
Good luck, man.
All right, Madi, any final words on this match and for the upcoming match proceeding?
Man, you guys are not doing wonders for my health. I want to point that out. Like every round just gets stressful, and then I get like all like flustered and shit. And I don't like this. All right.
I think you're stressed.
Oh man, I'm not even. Listen, I don't know if it's because of my health reasons that I haven't participated in these matches in a long time, or if it's because they don't know what I'm going to say on camera half the time, which is why they put me as a judge and mute me for 5 minutes at a time. You guys are this rookie tournament. We've kind of like some of the judges. We kind of like have figured out like who the big dogs are coming into the league. I haven't judged with JB3 at all before, but I've judged with Kevin before, and I mean we've kind of seen you two come up, and we're just like, yeah, I'm glad I'm not competing anymore, because otherwise I'd just be taking L's all this time. So no, it's like you guys are. Like I said, like this match does not define whether you're better or worse than the other guy. Like you guys are both, you're Magic and Bird right here. Like it's you're bringing it into like a new era of like just phenomenal debating, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Papa West, I love you, man. I based on this match and matches I've judged of his before, I'm going to tell you that my heart will not be able to handle that match, and I'll just watch on YouTube later on. So I'm going to have to ask you guys to find other judges, because I ain't doing that. Like I can't handle it. I don't have enough sweat to give for you guys, man. It's too much. Also, real quick, I'm really glad that you guys both brought up the Cowboys losing and the Patriots losing in the football round.
Yeah.
It just makes me so happy as a Giants fan. And,
Well, I will say, as a Skins fan myself, I can't wait to talk about Cowboys losing about anything in general. But
Yeah.
Cowboys going to go 0-16, and I just have to like somehow contain myself.
All right.
Yeah, no, that's all I'm going to say on that. Just put the Cowboys.
I'm sorry for any Cowboys fans who are listening to this. They're sort of offended by this.
You guys chose your own fate. Cheering for the Cowboys, you know what was going on. Oh, I'm a Cowboys and a Patriots fan. Get the fuck out of my face.
All right, this might be a perfect way to sign off right here. for all of us from Asher, Ruber, JB3, Kevin, and Madi right here. I'm the head commissioner as far as Jonathan, the Raptor Max Pride. Just want to say good luck and see you at Scratch and Claw 2.